ABC 7 business commentator Richard Stern joining us now. Richard, some green arrows across the board today.
What a difference from late last week. Remember Wednesday and Thursday? I think I forgot those. I took them out of my memory. Anyway, you know, people in the real estate business talk about location, location, location. Well, in the investment world, we talk about earnings, earnings, and earnings. And boy, are we starting to see some terrific earnings. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, the NASDAQ Composite, and the S&P all closed with the highest numbers we've seen, the best single day since late in March, almost 7 months ago. Every one of the 30 stocks that make up the Dow Jones Industrial Average moved higher. All 11 segments of the S&P moved higher. Any questions? Quite a day. Let's take a look at the numbers, and indeed, impressive they are. The Dow up almost 548 points, closing at 25,798.42, a gain almost 2.2%, that on volume of 699 million shares. And look at this, the NASDAQ was leading all year long, not the last 2 weeks, but how about today? Up 215 points, a gain of 2.9%, closing at 7,645.49. That on volume of 1,713 million shares. And the S&P, clean sweep indeed, up 59 points, also more than 2.1%, closing at 2,809.92. Well, how about an example of these terrific earnings? Johnson & Johnson, I expect you've heard of them. They've only been in business since the 1800s, and oh yes, they are one of the 30 components of the Dow Jones Industrial Average. They came out with third quarter earnings today that were well ahead of Wall Street expectations. A lot of it had to do with two of their cancer drugs, which are selling extremely well as some repackaging and rechanging of some of their baby products, which had been lagging and are lagging no more. J&J, of course, makes all kinds of products. We're all familiar with Band-Aids and all Tylenol and those kinds of things. But indeed, they're firing on all cylinders. They're a good example of what's happening on Wall Street today. And indeed, last week was real, but so was today. And if we continue to get very strong earnings, you're going to see reactions very much like we've seen today. And certainly no complaints about that.
Well, Netflix. What's going on with Netflix today?
Speaking of late news, great news. Netflix came out with earnings after the market closed. 7 million new subscribers as opposed to the expectation of 5. The stock is going to be way up tomorrow morning.
Wow, that's impressive.
Very impressive indeed.
Thanks, Richard.
You're welcome.